I was feeling a bit gloomy this morning, and then I saw a message on the class dojo from someone in my class called Max, who's really enjoying my story. So I've got up and I'm ready to read the next section. Inside the peach, James and the insects lay in a heap on the floor, wondering where on earth they could be. James knew there was only one way to find out, so he climbed up to the hatch and pushed it open. Warm sunlight spilt in, and James saw the most beautiful blue sky he had ever seen. A flock of seagulls flew past James as he crawled out onto the soft, fuzzy surface of the giant peach. "Oh my," he said as he surveyed all his new surroundings. The insects huddled round James, staring out in great disbelief. They were floating in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But where were they going? What were they supposed to do now? They all turned to James for the answer. James thought about it and said, "The old man told me all the answers would be right here." He put his hand over his heart and felt something in his coat pocket. It was the travel brochure, the one Spiker and Sponge had ripped into tiny pieces. Only now it was magically packed together. "I think I know where we're supposed to go," James said excitedly. "To New York City!" It was the place he had always dreamt of, and it had something for all of the insects too. Everyone agreed New York was the perfect destination. "Now, how do we get there?" the grasshopper asked. "I'll get us there," proclaimed the centipede. "I have sailed all the seas." There was only one problem. They had no sails, no engines, no way to steer the peach in the proper direction. "We'll wither away out here," cried the worried earthworm, "or drown." But James had an idea. He would attach the peach to those seagulls up there. "But," he told the others, "we'll need some string." "I have string," said the spider. "Miles of string." James gave the idea some more thought. "We also need bait, bird bait." All heads turned towards the earthworm. The earthworm lay half on top of the peach, half in the tunnel leading down into the centre. James and the centipede crouched in the tunnel, and when the first seagull swooped down from the sky, James gave the signal. The grasshopper and the ladybird yanked the earthworm's tail, pulling him into the tunnel. As birds soared past, James leapt up and lassoed the bird with the spider's thread. "It worked!" he shouted. "I got one!" But there was no time for celebration, for at that moment a gigantic shark appeared out of the choppy waters, and it was charging right for them. They needed the whole flock of seagulls to lift the giant peach out of the water before the shark attacked. They had to think fast. "We'll use Miss Spider's web for a net," said James. "Hurry!" Miss Spider tossed her web up the hatch, and James instructed the earthworm to wiggle. But the earthworm said he was all wiggled out. So Mr. Centipede grabbed him by the tail and swung him round like a wet towel. All at once, the entire flock of seagulls swooped down towards the peach, and at the last possible moment, the centipede leapt into the tunnel with the earthworm in tow. James threw the net around the birds, and amazingly it worked. He had captured the whole flock, but their troubles were far from over. The shark was almost upon them. They quickly threw the string around the necks of the seagulls and sent them soaring into the sky. The birds flapped like mad, and the peach began to rise and rise and rise. It was flying! The shark opened its ferocious jaws and launched a harpoon into the peach to keep it from getting away. But it was no match to the teamwork of those on board the peach. They dislodged the harpoon and hurled it back into its jaws. The peach soared majestically into the clear blue sky. "Hip, hip, hooray!" they shouted in celebration. James's clever plan had succeeded because they'd all worked together. And now they were on their way to New York.